Davison. Welcome to DTV's first ever homecoming pregame special. I'm Jeff Perry.
And I'm Aaron Snyder, and you're exactly right, Jeff. What an exciting event this is. This is our first ever pregame show, and we'll go over every aspect of tonight's game, whether it's Carmen or Davison. We'll have both teams on the spotlight. We'll be bringing you a complete coverage of the 2009 homecoming week, recap the football season, and look ahead to the game of the year, Davison versus Carmen.
That's right, Aaron, and the best part is that's in the comfort of your own home. Davison's had a rough start thus far, winning only 1 out of 3 home games while winning both away games. But even though the record is only 3-3, Davison still has the chance to make and remain Big Nine Conference champs.
Well, Carmen already has a title. The question is, are they going to win it outright and share the title with Davison and Flushing? So if the Cardinals can pull off the win tonight, they'll share the Big Nine title.
Well, we'll see how it plays out tonight. Davison has started off this season with a new coach, a new scheme, and to win this title in the first year is huge for the Cardinals. But before we dive deeper into tonight's game, we'll take you back to the season so far. DTV's Alexis Asensio has been following the team all year, and she takes us through all the ups and downs.
Cardinals started off a new season with a new coach, a young team, a new offense, a new defense, and hoping to kick things into the right gear. Returning state champion Rockford Rams traveled to Cardinal Stadium looking for a win. And it didn't take long for Rockford to show why they are one of the best. Cardinals could not keep up with the Rams. A really good running attack kept the Cardinals down for the most of the game. The Cardinals lost their opener to a very good opponent with the final score Rockford 38, Davison 13. Game 2, Davison bounced back into action as they traveled to Bay City Central. Hoping to rebound from their first loss, they fought hard from beginning to end. In the final seconds, Cooper caught the game-winning pass, making the score 14-13. Jake Thompson would end the game with a 2-point conversion, making the final score 16-13, and the new Cardinals would get their first win of the season. In the next game, Big Nine rivals Flushing came to town, looking to upset the Cardinals for the first time in 8 years. The Cardinals started strong, scoring the first 2 touchdowns in the first 29 seconds, but the game was long and the Raiders would fight back and dominate for the rest of the game. The final score, Raiders 35, Cardinals 24. And that loss ended the 27-game conference win streak for the Cardinals. Mishawaka had to wake up early and travel 3 hours on a Saturday afternoon to play at Cardinal Stadium. The Cavemen had an early 12-0 lead, but Davison was working hard and fighting back. With only seconds left, the Cardinals had a chance to win the game, but Jake Thompson's 4th down pass fell just short, and the Cardinals, despite playing a good game, lost 12-7, dropping their record to 1-3. Saginaw Arthur Hill came to town. It was just what the doctors ordered. Davison desperately needed a win. The Lumberjacks were 0-4 and were giving up 42 points a game. The Cardinals started the game strong and ready to play, showing no mercy for the Lumberjacks. Scoring back-to-back touchdowns put the lead for Davison for good. Finishing the first quarter, Davison 31 points, Lumberjacks 0. It was no questions asked that the Cardinals would win the game. The final score 59-22. The Cardinals' record was 2-3. Next, the Cardinals faced Powers in a Big Nine showdown. The Cardinals' ground game was in full effect. Josh Lazenby was the star, scoring 3 touchdowns on a route to a 26-14 victory. The win sets up a homecoming game that will decide the Big Nine championship. Alexis Asensio, DTV Sports.
Thanks, Alexis. The Cardinals have been fighting hard every game, and the only game where they looked out of their league was the first game of the season against Rockford. But other than that, they have kept every game close and pulled out a few wins as well. It has been an experience I don't think anyone will forget, especially Coach Emmendorfer.
Yeah, and you know this coach has already won a state championship at New Lothrop a few years back, and not many coaches in this area can claim that. But being a new coach and all, in a new city with a very young team and only 4 returning starters, the season is a learning process for both the coaches and the players.
You know, you're absolutely right, Aaron, and I had a chance to sit down with Coach Emmendorfer to give me his point of view of this season.
So, Coach, tell me a little bit about how the season's gone so far.
Well, you know, an overview of our season, things are not going the way that we would like, from especially a coaching standpoint, and then as a player standpoint, then I'm sure the fans would like to see us throw some more W's on the board as well. But I think there's a process taking place right now. We knew you never want to say you're going to struggle going into a season. You never want to accept that, but we knew that we had an uphill climb with how many players were lost from last year's team. It was a unique situation, only having very few returning players, and then the seniors that did come back this year had very little experience, if at all, getting on the field last year. And then on top of that, my staff comes in, we're meeting players for the first time. We're trying to evaluate talent and put people where best fits our new system, and try to be successful on the same time. So we had an uphill climb in front of us, and we knew that, but the process is going in a positive direction. I feel like we are getting better in areas. We'll take a couple steps forward in one area, and it feels like we may take one step back in another area. And I, just use offense as an example. I felt we blocked well on the perimeter in some of the earlier games, and then we needed to fix some things up front. We fix those things up front, and then we take a step back on the perimeter. And it's a tough offense because it's so much different than what they've done in the past. The positive thing is most of our starters on both sides of the ball are coming back next season. So they'll come back with that experience. And especially on the defensive side, we have maybe one or two seniors that play significant time on our defense side of the ball. So, it all starts with the defensive side. If you can protect the scoreboard, then you're going to stay in most games.
Did it take a while for you to get a bonding process going between you and the players?
Yeah, there was definitely a get to know you at the beginning, and I had to learn new names, and the coaching staff had to learn new names. And then there was a trust factor that had to be developed. I think from where I came from, they knew a little bit about my background and, winning a previous state championship. So I think I had some respect there when I first came through the door. But they still were kind of unfamiliar with our new system and what we were trying to do. So we had to build that trust and show, hey, when you do things right, okay, using the game, once we started getting games under our belt, and now look at this play, you block this correctly, and now look what this play does. Or you do this correctly, and now look what this play does. So they're starting to see, they know, they're taking ownership, hey, if we would have done this, this play would have worked. So they're not doubting the system. They know that we just need to get better at what we're doing.
So the coaches understand that it's a process. Do you think that the players understand that it's a process too?
I think so. We're trying to make them see the big picture here, but at the same time, we don't want them to disregard, this season. We're trying to win every game we can, but I think most of them, especially the younger players, the juniors and the sophomores that are up, know that this is a process taking place, and they understand that we're just working to get better each week, and eventually, hopefully, we'll get to where we need to be, where we can roll off lots of W's in the future. But, for the seniors that are on this team, they want to win right away, obviously. And, everybody wants to win right away. This is not something I'm used to. I come from a place where we won a lot, and this school obviously has won a lot. So, this is a little bit uncharted ground for all of us. But we're staying positive, and we're working hard every day, and that's all you can do right now.
High points of the season so far, what would you say, either with players or with the season overall?
High points of the season, first of all, this group of kids, all of us coaches enjoy working with them. It's fun. Even though, we only won one game up to this point, I still enjoy going to practice every day, and I think that's important. And I think most of the kids enjoy coming to practice every day. So the interaction that's taking place is a positive one.
So tell me a little bit about Carmen. Tell me a little bit of what you know so far about Carmen.
We had an opportunity because of a Saturday games and Thursday games, and they're playing on opposite days. We got some film on them early. I haven't actually watched it all yet, but I've got a little feedback here and there. We got to watch them against Flushing on Friday night, and so just without breaking down any film on Carmen at this point, just seeing what I saw at the game, they're extremely athletic, and just like years past, but they've had a few transfers come in from other schools, since some of the Flint schools, with Central closing down and that kind of thing, they had a couple transfers that were nice to help them out. and Nate Williams, their head coach, him and I go back when he was at Hamady and being in the GAC. We had some nice battles with New Ultrup and Hamady, so he's a friend of mine, and I respect him, and he's done a good job at turning that program around over there at Carmen, and they're going in the right direction. You know, I think they've always been real athletic over there and had the talent, but it takes the right individual to put that talent together and establish some discipline, and I think they're doing that. So, you know, we're going to have our hands full. You know, they're going to come ready to play. You know, it's a conference game. They have a lot riding on it because it's their last conference game, and if they can knock us off, they'll win the outright title. And we can share the conference championship.
The homecoming hype is kind of getting there around the corner. Do you have anything to say about like what you think about what's going on with homecoming and stuff like that?
Well, homecoming, you know, at a lot of schools, it adds a lot of hype. And there's a lot of extracurriculars going on that week leading up to the game. So the kids have a lot going on their mind. So one of my focuses as head coach is try to make sure they're focused when we hit the field because of all the extra things going on. So yeah, we have our hands full as a coaching staff that week to make sure they stay focused on the game and what really matters to us as a football team. You know, yeah, the other things are fun and leading up to the game, and I want them to be a part of all that stuff, but they also need to understand what's at hand and how big that game can be for us.
You know, Aaron, a lot of things stood out with that interview I had with Emmendorfer. I mean, you could just see a clear difference from the beginning of the season to things are now. I mean, you could just see that the team is really coming together.
You know, I agree. The kids are really starting to understand the new system, and there's a real relationship building between the coach and the players. We'd also like to thank you, Coach Emmendorfer, and his staff for supporting DTV and helping us out all season long. Coming up on the DTV Homecoming Preview Special, Weston Cowan will take you through the X's and O's of the Cardinals' new offense.
And we'll spend some time with a couple of Davison's finest. All that and more when we return.
Teamwork is working together, even when apart.
Teamwork is setting up the spike.
Teamwork is setting up the slap shot.
Teamwork setting up the jump shot.
But teamwork doesn't stop on the court.
On the ice.
At the net.
On the mat.
Teamwork also transfers into the classroom.
Teamwork is working together.
You're watching the Homecoming Preview Special on DTV.
Welcome back to the DTV Homecoming Pregame Special. We'd like to thank those varsity cheerleaders out there for that little cheer. We're taking you right up till game time with the news, analysis, and features on this homecoming game versus Carmen. So, Jeff, not only a new coach, we also have a new offensive scheme for this year, too.
Yeah, we'll run the triple option this year. It's a total 180-degree turn from the spread offense we ran last year. It's taken a while for everyone to just find a way and adjust to how things are working this year.
You know, I agree, and the hardest part is for the quarterback. I mean, his job is to read the defensive players and decide what to do with the ball on the fly every single play.
No doubt about that. DTV's Weston Cowan got with quarterback Jake Thompson to show us how the triple option works.
All right, I'm Weston Cowan out here on the practice field. Jake Thompson's going to run you through the new triple option. Take it away, Jake.
Okay. Base triple option play. I'm picking out my read key, Fred, and my pitch key, Pablo. So once I've done that, he's coming in motion. I'm going to say, set it. If he's upfield, give, carry out your feet.
Now we're going to show you what it looks like in real life. Thompson reads his keys and he hands the ball off to Lazenby for a dive up the middle, resulting in a 3-yard gain.
All right, now that's your first play, the dive up the middle, but if that's not an option, then what's your next choice?
Okay, well, I got it for you. The next option of the triple option, once I've done all that, he's coming in motion, say set hit, he's crashing down, I'm gonna pull it, work into Pablo, tack him, pitch, up the sideline.
With no room up the middle and his read key Fred attacking towards him, he pitches it to his pitch man Martin, gaining a solid 5 yards.
Picks up 4 down to the 15.
Deception so well, even you couldn't keep up with them.
Trying to get names out. Martin was in motion there and did receive the...
Now that was your second option. And your third option is keeping the ball to yourself. Tell us what determines if you have to take that option.
Okay, well the third and final facet of the triple option is, found all my people, he's coming in motion, set hit, I pull it, attacking Pablo, ball fake, go. Touchdown.
Long way to go now. We're at the 9, 1st and goal.
Thompson snaps the ball and sees no hole for the dive, and his pitch man is covered. He keeps the ball and gets 4 yards.
Thanks, Jake, for running us through the triple option. Now back to you guys at the studio.
Thanks, Wes. And although you see Jake there showing us triple option, you might not be seeing him on the field tonight, as he has an injury that kept him out of the Powers game and should keep him sidelined tonight as well. Instead, junior Mike Doloff will be calling the shots.
Mike had a great game against the Powers last week, leading the Cardinals to a big win. He didn't have to throw the ball much, but he ran that option like a pro, so he didn't really have to. It was way too much for the Chargers to handle, and you can expect a big game from this backup quarterback tonight. But quarterbacks need somebody to throw to, and Tad Davison is the team's big play receiver.
Yeah, Jeff, I recently had a chance to talk to the senior wideout about how this year has been for him.
Fake to Lazenby. He's looking down the middle. He's got somebody there. It's a little underthrown, though. Oh, it's tipped right into the hands of Tad Davison.
Not only did he score the first touchdown of the 2009 season, Tad Davison has been making big plays on the varsity team these last 3 years. Over this time period, Tad has been on quite the roller coaster ride, coming minutes away from a state championship to starting off the season with a completely new team.
I mean, obviously, it's kind of hard to think about last year's loss to Muskegon, but with the new offense and new coach and everything this year, it's more of a rebuilding year, so we want to go as far as possible and do the best we can.
Weber. And number 57, Cameron Shorts.
It's fun. I mean, obviously, help them when they need, and they help us too. And they're a good class, and just enjoy playing with them.
Even though it's his last year, Tad doesn't stop there. He still works hard and feels there's plenty of room for improvement.
To become a better player, probably just be my last year. I mean, I want to give as best I can and go as far as I can with it and have fun.
But with hard work and fun comes mental strategy and preparation for the game.
To prepare, I'll probably do everything I do every game. We have meals before, but then after that I kind of walk around the field by myself with my music, headphones, and just think about what I got to do and get it done.
With Tad's season coming to an end and possibly his football career brings many emotional thoughts about his last homecoming game.
Well, being my last year is pretty huge. I definitely want to be part of it. As underclassmen and everything, you really don't think about it as much as you do once you're a senior, but it's going to be a pretty big game. I'm quite excited.
Not only is Tad Davison a leader on the football team, but he also has his fair share of advice for upcoming and beginner football players.
Just have fun. I mean, you only get to do it once, and if you're lucky enough, you go on to college and play, like some have. But once you don't realize until your senior year that this is the last time you get to play, and you need to enjoy it and do it best you can.
Wow, what an athlete, and what poise he shows. I mean, he seemed to know exactly how to talk to you and really speak from the heart.
Yeah, I mean, and not only is he a great player, but the sportsmanship he has is phenomenal. And maybe that's why he's in the running for homecoming king, you know?
You know, I really don't doubt that for a second. And now Andrew Gerber has more on junior Ryan Hankins, the only returning starter on the defensive line.
One player that comes to mind when you hear the words highlight reel would be Ryan Hankins. You won't find Hankins on the sideline a lot, but you will find him on the opposing quarterback. Ryan is currently a left guard, a linebacker, and occasionally on the defensive line.
I got a pretty big passion for football because I've been doing it since 4th grade and junior football, and doing it ever since.
Last year as a sophomore, Hankins earned a starting spot on the varsity team. He is one of the few returning starters on a new team that is completely refurbished.
It's changed a lot from there's no one back from last year, and there's completely new faces, and I haven't played with my class since 8th grade.
And all of the changes have created a new atmosphere and intensity level never seen at Davison before.
Intensity level is so much greater because we actually go live with Emmendorfer, with Putnam. It was more or less a intense walkthrough, every practice and everything. But this year we go live and we hit every day and more prepared for the game because it's more game-like than it was last year. So yeah, I'd say it was better.
Never leaving the field, Ryan has become a go-to guy for everyone on the field. But never once has Ryan let this leadership role go to his head. He continues to stress sportsmanship and is not afraid to rely on his teammates.
I definitely rely on most of our linebackers, Kyle Reeser, and if Tad's playing defense, then I rely on him, and there's a couple others. But
in the end, football is what it's all about. Players look forward to this all year. If that doesn't motivate them enough, the love for the sport is what really gets our Cardinals pumped for the next game.
My motivation is just to win and to do better than we did last week and do better over time. Having close games, just getting that close, you just want to try harder and do better than you did the week before and hopefully win.
And with homecoming just around the corner, Hankins is feeling good about this must-win situation.
I think we're going to be doing pretty good against Carmen Ainsworth at our homecoming. And I think we should do pretty good for the rest of the season.
Andrew Gerber, DTV Sports.
Aaron, Hankins had 2 huge sacks against Powers last week. And, we're probably going to need a lot more of that if Carmen starts throwing that ball around.
I mean, a good pass rush is going to be crucial against this team.
No doubt about that. Coming up after the break, we're going to switch up the sidelines a bit and give you a sneak preview into what the Cavaliers have to offer.
And not only that, we'll also take a look at the crazy action from homecoming week. Stay tuned and we'll catch up with you after this break.
Respect the call. We're trained to be fair. Refs are people too. Make the call.
Display sportsmanship by respecting and supporting your teammates as well as the opponent.
Respect the call.
Have fun, play fair, be a good sport.
Respect the call.
Welcome back to the one and only DTV Homecoming pregame show. So Jeff, we've got this huge game tonight, which is the center of the Davison community every year. What do you expect the crowd to be like tonight?
I mean, you basically said it right there. I mean, it is the center of Davison's community, and I think that's going to be the biggest turnout thus far this year for the football team.
I agree. I mean, last week's win, I think, gave hope to a lot of fans here in Davison, and they now know what the boys can do out on the field, And
of course, every homecoming, there's a spirit week here in the schools where the kids take part in all sorts of crazy activities.
DTV's own Hannah Hall has a story.
Homecoming, homecoming, homecoming. It has been the talk of Davison, and it's finally here. It's not only about the dancing and the football games, but it's also about all the little things that help make homecoming what it is today.
This year, Student Council voted on the theme for homecoming, and they chose retro video games. So each class had a class meeting where they decided which video game they wanted as their theme, and off of that is how they constructed their floats.
To start off homecoming week, there is a kickoff assembly held to get DHS students excited for homecoming. Gets from the drama club, cheerleaders, introductions of the homecoming candidates, and of course plenty of crazy dancing. Also on Tuesday, many students and staff turned back the clock sporting their old school t-shirts for Retro T-Shirt Day. It doesn't stop there. On Wednesday, there was the annual Junior versus Senior Powder Puff game. With the score of 24-0, seniors dominated the field with Mallory Avard, Lauren Bellamy, and Taylor Hitchcock with a touchdown each. Powder Puff halftime, they announced that senior Timmy Callison was the new homecoming king. To get ready for the game, students wore their hats and jerseys to participate in Spirit Week. On Thursday, as the senior Powder Puff girls were talking about their win in the halls, everyone else was showing off their class t-shirts. And on game day, everyone broke out their maroon and gold clothes and marched down to the gym for the annual pep rally. Of course, it was all leading up to the big game. Hannah Hall, DTV Sports.
Thanks, Hannah. Davison always puts together a spectacular homecoming week, and it's enjoyed by many.
You're very true, Jeff. What was your favorite part about this week?
Probably just everybody just showing their Cardinal pride, wearing the maroon and gold t-shirts that Hilton Screeners makes or anything that they have at home. What did you like?
Well, I mean, I never thought I'd say this, but I like cheering at the game, cheering on the girls. I never thought I'd say I was a cheerleader, but it was a lot of fun. I had a great time.
I'm sorry, you guys. This show is just way too funny. But anyways, back to tonight's game.
Yes, please, let's change the topic. Carmen Ainsworth Cavaliers are searching for their only second conference championship since 1982, and Coach Nate Williams is getting this team ready for the challenge.
I have a team of seniors. I have 35 seniors on this team this year. This is my second year with the kids in the program. I think we're heading in the right direction. A few leaders on our team this year. Weaknesses would probably be, this is second year in the program. We just, we're still trying to go get everything together. Every game is a big game for us. I think Davison has a tradition of being successful. I look at them as they were one game away from the state championship game last year. So that's going to be an exciting game. I'm looking for us to have a good battle and battle for that Big 9 championship. It's exciting just to see us going in that direction.
When you were at Flint Hamady, you coached against Coach Emmendorfer at New Lothrop. What can you tell me about your history of coaching against him?
Well, I know he's a great coach. There's not very many coaches in this area that have a state championship ring, and he's one of them. And so I respect him for that, and he has a tradition of getting his kids to play hard for him. So I expect their best. I expect us to play our best. He broke me into the league pretty early, my first few years coaching, and I only beat him one time out of the 4 years that I was there at Hamady. So I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Both the Carmen Cavaliers and the Davison Cardinals have a record of 3-3. Watching this Carmen team, you could just tell that they love to throw the ball and just take shots down the field.
I agree. I mean, they have the speed and athleticism to do just that. They also have incredible size. The Carmen line is enormous, and they have a couple of bookend tackles that are the biggest I've seen in a while.
I know, they're the size of refrigerators. They're just huge. With that being said, the Cardinals are going to have to tighten up their coverage in the secondary and try to beat the offensive line with speed and blitzes. And now it's time for your predictions. All right, guys, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. The kickoff is just about to happen, and we're going to tell you the pregame predictions. Me and Aaron here are going to call the game for you. Aaron, what do you think?
Well, with the boys' play last week against Powers, I mean, they did a tremendous job. But I think today, at tonight's game, I mean, they're going to really bear down and try and protect Doloff, their second-string quarterback. But all in all, I think it's going to be a neck-and-neck game, and 21-18, I mean, got to give it to my boys.
Give me the ball here. You know what, I think that with Doloff being the second-string quarterback, it might be just too much pressure for Doloff, and he might be throwing those passes a little bit too far. And defense-wise, I think that Davis is not going to even get close to putting pressure on the quarterback. The offensive line is just too big for Davison to go and just penetrate. And I think that the quarterback for Carmen is just going to have all night long to choose where he wants to throw it, and he's going to be able to throw it wherever, whenever. And I'm going to say 21-14.
Well, Jeff, I mean, you say their O-line's huge, but have you taken a look at Hankins lately? I mean, he's a big boy. I mean, he's going to break through the line all night no matter what you say. It's going to happen. And in the end, we're going to be sharing that title. So
I don't know, Aaron. I guess we'll have to wait and see. The kickoff is about to go underway. Thanks for joining us for the DTV Homecoming pregame special.